Every morning, you do it. You bend down. You hug your dog. You say something sweet, be a good boy. Mommy will be right back. Then you stand up, grab your bag, and shut the door. You do it because you love your dog. That goes without saying. But during that entire time, from the moment you bend down until the door clicks shut, your dog is experiencing something completely different than what you think. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's just that nobody has ever told you how your dog is reading that moment. There are 6 things happening during your everyday goodbye. 6 things that most dog owners don't even know they're doing, and we'll save the last one for the end of the video. Because that's the part that doesn't happen when you leave, it happens when you come back. And that's the part making everything worse. This isn't a video about dogs in general. This is about your dog, your morning, your door. And there's a very simple question at the heart of everything we're about to talk about. If the way you say goodbye every day is creating anxiety instead of comfort, wouldn't you want to know? Most people would. So let's start with what happens before you even touch the doorknob. Every morning, you do things in a certain order. You grab your keys. You put on your shoes. You sling your bag over your shoulder. Maybe you even check your phone one last time before heading out. You don't pay attention to that order. To you, it's just a normal morning. But your dog has been paying attention for a very long time. Researchers at the University of Vienna have documented that dogs have the ability to recognize and memorize their owner's behavioral sequences and map them into a single signal. Not each individual action, but the entire sequence in the exact order, like a complete sentence they've memorized by heart. And that sentence means my person is about to disappear. The moment you pick up your keys, your dog's nervous system has already started reacting. Not when you hug them, not when you say goodbye. Right from that very moment. Your goodbye doesn't start at the door. It starts way earlier than you think. A lot of people feel guilty when they leave. You bend down one last time. You pet your dog. You try to sound super chill, trying to keep your voice real soft. Deep down, you've got this uneasy feeling, and you're trying to hide it. But your dog isn't reading your face. They're reading your body. In 2021, researchers at Queen's University Belfast discovered that dogs can detect cortisol, the primary stress hormone in the human body, through sweat and breath, with an accuracy of up to 94%. And a separate study at Linköping University, Sweden, in 2020 showed that dogs and owners living together long-term will develop physiological synchronization. Their bodies track and mirror your body's state. That means when you feel guilty before leaving, your dog doesn't just sense it, they absorb it. You can't fake being calm with a dog. Their nervous system is reading your nervous system. And whatever you bring to that goodbye, they'll carry it right through the door with you. If this is changing the way you look at your dog, that's exactly what we're here to do. Subscribe to the channel. Once a week, we do this. Hugging your dog before you leave. Most folks do this. To you, it's an emotional moment, a way to say you love them before taking off. That feeling is totally real. But in dog language, hugging is an act of physical restraint. It's how a larger animal pins down another animal, stopping it from moving. That instinct has been in them for thousands of years, and it doesn't just vanish because you're doing it out of love. Most dogs don't actually like being hugged. They put up with it because they trust you. And here's how you spot the difference. When you hug them, just watch. Are their ears pinned back? Is their body stiffening up? Is their head turning to the side? Is their tongue lip-licking? Those aren't signs of happiness. Those are the signals dogs use to say, I'm trying to tolerate this. Hugging isn't a terrible thing, but hugging right before you disappear means the very last moment your dog experiences before the door closes is a moment where their body is in a state of restraint. That's no small thing. Be a good boy. Mommy will be right back. Good girl. I'm just going to work and I'll be right back. These phrases are spoken in a high-pitched tone, dragged out, repeated over and over. And most dog owners can't skip them no matter how hard they try. Your dog doesn't understand those sentences literally. They don't know how long a little bit is. They don't know what right back means. but they hear something else, loud and clear. In Kétezer Tizenhat, researcher Attila Andich at Eötvös Loránd University, Hungary, used fMRI to observe dog brains while processing human voices. The results showed that dogs process language similarly to humans' words in one hemisphere, intonation in the other hemisphere. But when the two conflict, intonation always wins. A high, drawn-out, repetitive voice a dog's brain reads that as a signal of arousal, not a signal of comfort. The things you say before you leave aren't for your dog to understand. They're for you to feel less guilty. And your dog, who is reading every single emotional cue in your voice, is only getting one message: that this moment is different from normal moments, that this moment carries weight. You shut the door and leave. You don't know what happens inside that room for the next 60 seconds. Most people think their dog is just steadily sad all day long, that the anxiety stretches all the way from the time you leave until the time you come back. But that's not how it works. In 2013, researcher Rachel Casey at the University of Bristol documented that the strongest stress response in a dog's body doesn't happen after many hours of absence. It happens right in that first window after the owner leaves. Cortisol spikes. The nervous system fires up. And that peak usually happens within the first 60 seconds after the door clicks shut. That window isn't created by your absence. It's created by what you did in the 5 minutes before you left. All those signals, the anxiety in your body, the pre-departure hug, the high and drawn-out voice, the familiar sequence of actions signaling a disappearance. They don't just vanish when the door closes. They pile up. And your dog's body processes all of them at once, the exact moment you step outside. It's not your leaving that hurts your dog. It's how you leave that shapes that window. And that window is the most important time frame of their entire day. You open the door and walk in, and your dog goes absolutely nuts. They're jumping. They're whining. They're spinning around like you just got back from a 5-year trip. And you match that energy, high voice, arms wide open. "Oh, you're such a good boy. I missed you so much." That moment feels amazing for both of you. But here's what nobody tells you. How you return has a direct impact on how your dog experiences the next goodbye. When you turn that reunion into a massive emotional event, when you hype it up, drag it out, mirror all their excitement back at them, you're confirming something in your dog's nervous system. That your absence is a cause for concern. That it's heavy enough to be celebrated when it's over. And your dog learns from that. Not through language, through biology. The bigger the reunion, the heavier the next goodbye is going to be. Because their body has been taught by you, with all your love, that this is an event with real weight. You don't do this because you want to cause harm. You do it because you miss them. Because that moment belongs to you too, not just them. But your dog isn't reading that reunion as affection. They're reading it as confirmation. Every goodbye you say to your dog is a sentence. And every time you come back like that, you're teaching them how to read the next sentence. You've been writing that sentence every single day. And now, for the first time, you know what it's saying. Most dog owners love their dogs unconditionally. That goes without saying. But loving and understanding aren't the same thing. And the gap between those two things, that's exactly what this channel exists to bridge. You don't have to say the perfect goodbye starting tomorrow. You just need to start looking at that moment differently. More chilled out, shorter, less heavy for both of you. Your dog doesn't need an emotional goodbye. They need a person whose body says that everything is totally fine when they leave. Drop a comment down below out of the 6 things we just talked about. Which one do you recognize in your own morning? I read every single comment. If this video changes even one thing about how you walk out the door tomorrow, hit that subscribe button. This is what we do every week. And there are so many other things your dog is trying to tell you that you don't have the translation for yet. Next week, if your dog follows you from room to room, it's not anxiety. It's something completely different. And once you understand it, you'll never look at it the same way again.